because no one ever brought that thought process up to me. Like, dang, should I even be in a relationship when I go overseas? I'm just thinking, oh, I found me a girl, boo, 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 let's go ahead. But when I really think about it, that's split from living in different countries to different countries. Now you got to worry about visas. Now you got to worry about what if we fall in love and have kids, how I'm going to get that kid over there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just extra expenses. That's just extra things that probably you wasn't prepared for. What if you get, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to be one of those dudes who get a girl pregnant and then slide, go and just never, and just abandon your kid? Seen it a million times.
What are you thinking? Yeah. What are you thinking? Yeah. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah. What are you thinking? Hey. What are you thinking? Hey. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah.
Welcome back to another edition of the Arnold's Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Arnold Lewis, and I help professional athletes prepare for a life of overseas basketball. Now, before we get started, like I'd like to say before each episode, you guys do me a big favor, hit the like and subscribe and follow me on all platforms at the Arnold Thoughts Podcast. Now, today's segment is going to be about relationships, man. Overseas relationships. Should you have them? Should you be in an overseas relationship while playing overseas basketball? That is a very interesting question. I know we're in the era of guys talking about relationship, and that's a hot topic. I don't care nothing about that. I ain't the guys from YouTube or Relationship Guru. I can care less about any of that. I ain't got nothing to talk about when it comes to how you should handle your relationship, what you should do with who you decide to be with. That ain't none of my business. I'm talking from an athlete's perspective of having a relationship with a person while you're playing, and they bring in one country and you're being in another. What's up, guys? I just dropped my new ebook, 6 Must-Have Steps to Be an Overseas Basketball Player. You know, I've been playing for the last 9 years. I got all the steps and the traits that you need to start your journey with networking, with getting a mentor, all the things that you need to start your journey to be a protege. So go get that ebook, click the link in the bio, and make sure you get your steps to being that overseas pro one day. Let's go. I bring this up because I was recently having a conversation with a couple of my guys, and we was just talking about the whole relationship thing because, one, I just haven't had luck with the relationships overseas. Me personally, playing overseas basketball, I just not have had any good luck from relationships. Not saying that everyone that I've been with was not in a relationship was not a good relationship. It was just, it didn't work out because of too many complications. One being away from the other person. A lot of people are not equipped to handle that type of life. I don't care how much you say you're in love. I don't care how much you think that you're ready. You're not ready to date a player that plays overseas if you're not used to that life. If you're not used to an athlete, don't act like you just be like, I can do this. And like for me, most of my relationships have been with people outside of the country, and it's way harder. Well, none of them work because they don't understand the concept of, hey, I'm about to slide. I am about to slide, and I am about to go play somewhere else. Like they don't understand like what that means because most people are so stuck in their own world and dealing with so much of their own issues, they don't understand what it is for an athlete whose lifestyle is to go from country to country to country to country at all times. Most people aren't ready for that because most people aren't ready to just uproot their life and go live somewhere else and travel from 3-4 different countries in 1 year. That is not, and have to do it on their own dime. There isn't a lot of people that's that financially stable to be able to just pick up and leave to go to other countries and just live like that off of a boyfriend or someone like that. There isn't a lot of athletes that have the money to sustain a relationship with them traveling with their girl. You're not going to save money. I know from firsthand experience when I was traveling, when I was like my first couple of years, I had got married. And I had my ex-wife at the time, staying with me. I was not saving bread. I was spending more money. Because now you're accountable for two households. The one you got in the country or whatever you're playing at, and the one there. When you're an athlete, when you're a player and you're playing overseas, majority of the time, you got your own spot. It's way cheaper than if someone's living with you. Hands down. And then you having a family. Like, I know guys, of course, are going to take care of their families, but having them come and stay with you in the beginning years, especially, and you're not financially stable enough, you're still trying to get yourself together. Especially if you're a young rookie coming out and you're trying to play and you're trying to build up your career. It's going to be tough to save and take care of someone and grow your money, and it's just going to be tough. I just did a segment on Keys to the Game talking about a 10-year plan. So if you're hearing this one, go check out Keys to the Game, and it's like the 10-year plan. There's just so much to this game that you just can't overlook when it comes to, like, how am I going to save money and be within a relationship with someone and take care of them? Because most guys, they take care of their counterpart. I gotta hear this also from a female's perspective, because I only have like one friend of mine. She's playing. I think she just said she went to Lithuania. And she was saying, like, they're not getting paid. I think her episode is the Colombian Queen. If y'all want to go check it out, we did an episode. Her name's Pancha Maria Delgado. We call her Pancha. Maria Delgado, the Colombian Queen. Y'all check out the episode, and she kind of breaks into like the wage gap of what women have to deal with when it comes to playing basketball. Like, they're not really making that much bread too to be taking care of someone as well, from the female perspective of it all. I got to get some more female guests on here so they can kind of break that down from a female perspective. What do you guys do when you're in a relationship and it comes to money? Because that's a very good question. I'm very interested to know. So if anybody knows any female guests, basketball players that play overseas, then I can interview and ask these questions, because it's a very interesting question to see what is the female perspective, because I do know some who are making pretty decent money, and how does that correlate with their relationship? And most of the time, most of these girls that I see that are playing, they be single too. So what are you doing with your money as well with the person that you're with? So that's why this whole beginning segment is like, what should you even be in the relationship at all when it comes to playing basketball professionally? Because yes, you could have a girl or whatever, but I cannot even stress the amount of times I know I fell for it. I didn't see my boys fall. No, I ain't gonna say fall for it, go through it. That hurt. That hurt. That you look when you see your teammate arguing with their girl when y'all sharing rooms, and he's over there and they're talking. He's like, man, I got a game today, and you want to come do this on my game day? You want to be tripping over? I've seen so many guys go through that. Oh, man, you want to be tripping this game day, and you know I got this. You always want to come start on it. Head be gone. Head be gone, because they're just not focused. I have been through it. I first want to raise my hand that say I've been through it, and I'll be like, bro, it's just something that I can't deal with. That is a heavy weight to carry, having a troublesome girl while you're trying to play. That will make an athlete or anybody it's not fun. That is very detrimental to your career. That's what you got to understand. That's very detrimental to your career, because you let your relationship affect you too much off the court. See, there's a difference between being close proximity, because when you're close, I can't even say that, but having those relationship problems, and then that translates to the court, because I know for me, that type of emotional hit, it's gonna have me. It has you you just can't lock into the game, because there's so much stuff going on. and you just went through all this energy off. You want to just like throw your whole mood off, and it's game day. It's probably a big game, and you're like, man, you only want that support, and just like, all right, make sure you good. You feel me? Make sure my mind right. Make sure I'm relaxed. Don't even gotta talk that much. Don't even, you know what I'm saying? Hey, good game. Get ready. You know what I'm saying? You got it. The simple, light stuff. Let me get in my zone. Let me get in my zone and just vibe and chill and get my mind ready for the game. It's a big game. I'm ready. I don't need that. Yeah. I'm only speaking from experience because I didn't seen it. I didn't went through it. And I just like, that is one thing I cannot ever deal with. Can't do it. I believe a relationship is everything that you desire it to be and what you put your energy and what it wants to be. And I, for one, I cannot stand or be with someone that just doesn't understand the flow of game day or the moment. There's just some things that have to be in the moment, especially as athletes, when we get in a certain moment in a vibe. If you're any female that dates an athlete should understand, like, if you dated one long enough, normally if you date one athlete, you've dated other athlete, because most females attract athletes, so they know their tendencies. And any person, male or female, that goes over the boundaries and just affect them mentally while they're trying to be in the moment when it comes to a game, shame on you. That's all I got to say, because you know what it takes for an athlete to get mentally focused and locked in and try to disturb or distract that momentum, that energy that they have. That is just, you're gonna have to talk to your counterpart, especially as an athlete, because this is what feeds us. That part. This is what feeds us. This is what is pushing us towards a better life. And you're just putting a wrench in that. You're disrupting that flow of our money or whatever your situation may be. But it's your money, because that game could be the one that got you cut and sent home because you want to be arguing with your girl and you're too frustrated and it boiled over to the court, and now you ain't got no job because of your relationship. There have been plenty of guys that have lost their jobs because of their relationship. I was almost one of them. Sometimes that joint gets so big. I've heard so many stories. So, okay. I won't display any names. So there was a guy who I used to play with, and he had moved to a different team. And I didn't find out about the situation until maybe another season I came, and he was a teammate of him. And he told me, bro, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? Like, no, what do you mean? Well, she hacked his phone, got into his WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the messenger that everybody overseas use. Got into his phone, read his messages, seen what he was talking about to other females. Goes into the team group chat and starts blasting him and posting pictures and saying all the things in the team's group chat. So now the team, the coach, everybody who's a part of that group chat, your girl's is in here, snapping, selling out, putting all your business out. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful, man. Y'all be having these girls, they be pretty, but they be crazy. I'll be the first one to raise my hand. I went through it. You gotta understand, I didn't see the biggest men buckle under the stress of a relationship when it comes to being overseas. I didn't see guys lose their job. I didn't see guys lose games. I didn't see so many situations where a relationship has brung you down. So maybe that's something, maybe for like the first 5 years. Majority of guys I see coming into the league, young guys, they're not really that mature yet. They still have a lot of growing up because they just don't understand you're navigating in a different cultures and stuff, and you're still trying to learn yourself, and there ain't really too many people like your boy right now, just giving out game on how it's really going to be like until you run into somebody and they kind of just give you here and there. You run most time when you run into an older guy and they see a young guy, they're going to try to give you some game because we've been there. So all we want to do is make sure that you straight when you get there. That's pretty much what almost any guy that probably played 10 years in, he see a young guy that's decent is playing. All he gonna want to do is want to give you game because he know what it was like to be there, and he knows that he can guide you a little bit, but only for that short period of time. That's why I come on here and talk about all these situations that can happen, all these situations that goes on in the game, like these relationships, and just to make you think about it because no one ever brought that thought process up to me. Like, dang, should I even be in a relationship when I go overseas? I'm just thinking, oh, I found me a girl, boo, 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 let's go ahead. But when I really think about it, that's split from living in different countries to different countries. Now you got to worry about visas. Now you got to worry about what if we fall in love and have kids, how I'm going to get that kid over there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just extra expenses. That's just extra things that probably you wasn't prepared for. What if you get, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to be one of those dudes who get a girl pregnant and then slide, go and just never, and just abandon your kid? Seen it a million times. Seen guys, meet guys over there, they're playing. You can see they got the mixed color. Yeah, my dad came here and he had a good day and left. Is that what you want? It's fine if that's what you want. But taking the concept of should you even start, like, got to be honest with yourself because there is a lot of pros and cons to that. So a lot of cons, like I said, I brought up a lot of cons of like how that affects the game. You don't want that distraction. Especially when you're starting to build out your career. You don't want that distraction. That can be a huge distraction that can, if I didn't produce and what I was supposed to do on the level that I was supposed to, my career could have ended because of a relationship. Because it was just so toxic and it spilled so much into my personal life into my career life that it could have ended, I could have lost a championship and not been a part of a championship because I got fired because of my personal issues off the court spilt so much onto the court and with the team and the organization. Just have to have the concept and think about it. You know, you just got to start thinking about it because maybe that is not the smartest move to make. I didn't say you should be absent and not be with nobody or none of that. I'm just saying if you're going to be in a real relationship and take someone serious, make sure you're taking that person serious and that you plan on building and actually growing with that person and planning out and know that this is a real step that I'm willing to take to carry me throughout my life. Because trying to do that, you just don't want that to interfere with your growth as a pro, as an athlete, as in this career, because it's so unstable. 1 or 2 mishaps, and a big mishap is picking the wrong partner to choose to be with while you're overseas. Especially when you find them overseas, because they're so new, they're different, they're just, exotic. Oh, foreign Jones, I got me a foreign one. Mind be gone, head be gone, tripping. Guys getting depressed. See, boy. A woman, listen, for my male hoopers, my men, my boys, listen. Do your due diligence when you come to finding a person to be with when it comes to playing this game. Don't let that be the reason why you have a short career or something. Do not let that be the reason. You have to do your due diligence. Please do your due diligence and the person that you choose and you decide to spend your life for it. Because it can go bad quick. It can go bad real fast, and that's not what we want. Moving on to another segment. I was just thinking, it's 10 years I've been playing this game. And the question dawned on me is, when is enough enough? When do you have enough with the game and you no longer want to continue? Because I think about this right now. Because I'm starting to look around. When I start to look around at the guys that's been in the game as long as I have, 9, 10 years, 11 years, it just starts wearing down. They just start wearing down here. So many 8, 9, 10 years, guys just be done. I'm done. And I see why. Because 90% of the time, what you are worth, what you should be getting, what you feel like your career should have been as far as compensation wise, doesn't add up. And you start coming to the realization of, I've been doing this for 9, 10 years, and this really haven't really brought me anything of stability or compensation to this point of what I need in my life, because the world starts getting realer and realer, and you start going through taxes, and you start looking for a crib, and the money that you're making ain't covering that, and it's not as consistent. The money don't be consistent. Something might happen. So now you're just teeter-tottering from, maybe I can catch a deal this year, or I could stick with this job, or maybe I find a good job while I was waiting, and then if I go, I'm going to lose the good job. Ain't no guarantee that I'm going to get it back, and it's less, but I get to go play basketball. Those are the decisions these are the type of situations that pop up and make you realize, like, man, is it really worth it? Because the instability of the game is so real. That is one part of the game that no one really talks about, is the unstableness of it. You're not always going to be on. You're not always going to have the right compensation that you believe that you should have. And a lot of times we compare ourselves to the guys that are making the big contracts and stuff like that. Looking at somebody else's pocket and hearing about what they're doing and how much they're making, it's not going to help yours. It's not going to help you better manage your money. It's not going to help you better understand financial literacy on what you should do with your money. Because I can tell you this right now. I know people who got $200,000 saved up and don't know what to do with it, but just to sit there and look at it as a pretty prize, and do not know where to invest, and do not know how to manage it, and do not know where to allocate it so it can start producing for them a better life after they're done playing basketball. Just because you have a lot don't mean you know a lot of what to do with it. You know one thing: I know how to spend it. I know how to spend the money I got. I don't really know how to invest it. I tried some investment. I hit up a friend here and this, and I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try to get the PPP loan and do all these extra fugaziness. And I've accumulated a nice chunk of money, but what is it going towards? I got a nice car that I got to spend the money on. I got a nice, I don't know, I could take trips. What is the money going towards? That's the concept. That is something that some people worry about so much of, getting to the point of making the money. What happens when you start making the money and you don't know how to manage the money, and then the money stops coming in? Then you have a bad, knock on wood, then just saying, injuries happen. And then you got to sit out for 2 years, but you're used to making this money, and you increase your lifestyle to live off this money that you making. And now you can't make the money that you've been making to support the lifestyle. Because now you're in a whole different bracket now. So it's what you do with the money that you're able to accumulate through all this time. So that's why I raised the question again of, when is enough for you as an athlete, as a pro? Before you even start, you got to start setting your parameters of what you want to get out of this life in a collective, out of this career. Because I know for many of the guys that started around the time I started, like, and they're made it to this far, 9, 10 years, it's just getting burnt out. It isn't that they can't play no more. It isn't that they can't have 15, 16 years. but they just get burnt out of all of the nonsense that just goes along with the game. And the compensation doesn't really add up to the BS of the game and not hitting the marks that you want from the game. Like, it's very, throughout my years, I think I've only ran into about one or two athletes who actually took the money that they got, invested it in the right place, and letting it, and just collecting this extra basketball money to just be investment money or just chump change to live off of. It's like, or they got their money to make them money to where they never have to touch a check. That is one of my goals. My last 6-7 years, I never want to touch a basketball check. I just want to continuously collect and invest. I want that to be my investment engine because I've taken the money and I've taken the time to build something, to learn a skill that I can do. That way, everything I do with basketball, that is going towards my future, that going towards more investments to buy me bigger opportunities and bigger positions to grow and make a better life for me and take it to the next. As a true competitor, your life don't stop. Your competitive nature doesn't stop when you start playing the game. I want that same competitive nature and drive that I put so much into the game to get to this certain point to just transfer into my next phase of life. Because think about it, not just the lifespan of an athlete. It's just a fraction of your life. What is it, a third? 30 years? Yep. From a kid to about 30. Most guys tap out around the 30 range. Not even a third. It's the average life expectancy of people, what, 70, 75? So pretty much it's not going to be half your life. What are you going to do with the rest of that? And you're using, and we're talking about a pro career life, not even basketball. Let's just talk about a pro career. Most guys don't even make it to 10 years. So you got 10 years to try to set up the rest of your life, because you're going to be making so much from this portion of your life because this is your career, but this career don't last long. It has an expiration date. This career has an expiration date, and you have to understand sometimes you don't know when your expiration date is coming. Unless you set it for yourself and you're willing to take whatever just to stay in the game, to say this is how long I'm going to stay in the game until this point. So you have to factor in all those and all that as well. So how I come back to the question again, when is enough for you to continue in this game when you get so deep into it? If you get that deep into it, if you get 10 years, if you can get to 10 years, when is the breaking point for you? I've been here 10 years and I'm still getting offered for $2,500. Maybe you thought you'd be further along than that. Maybe you thought you should be getting more money than that. I'm 10 years in, but I've missed every single one of my daughter's birthday. That is tough, because you can't get those years. Like they said, you can't get those years back. It's a sacrifice of what you want. It's not always the money. It's the time away from family. It's the time away from friends, loved ones. It's missing out on, because you think about it, when you're going to go play, it's a really a selfish act for yourself, because you're going out to do what you love to do. But your majority of your life, all the way up until then, you're surrounded by people that you love, your parents, your cousins, your best friends or whatever. You've grown up with them for majority of your life. So majority part of your life, you're with these people. And then when you purposely disconnect yourself from them, in the beginning, it's like, oh, okay, it's cool because I'm living and I'm doing and I'm chasing my dream. But 9-10 years, you'd be like, man, the connection was so deep with these people that you've grown up with and been with, that it's starting to weigh on you now on the back end. Because you'd be like, dang, it's been 10 years. It's been 12 years, bro, and I ain't even seen him because he went over there and she was just this small and she didn't grow up. I only see her for like 2 weeks. Dang, is that much time passed by? Man, I can't believe I didn't miss out on something. They just growing up. My daughter just growing up. My son, I ain't even seen him. Something happened. I missed 3 years and I ain't even seen him. And now all this, like, dang. Man, your son getting older. He getting real good in the sport. And people are starting to take a liking into him. And now you're like, dang, do I got to watch my son be raised and taught by somebody else who not teaching them the right things, and he has so much potential? Do I give up what I've been so far and just start, okay, I'm finna pour into my kid and just, I had mine, did mine. I feel like now it's time. When is enough for you? When do you decide that enough is enough for you and it's just not worth it anymore? It's just not worth continuously going down this path and playing this game. Those are some of the questions that I feel as athletes that we have to start addressing in the beginning. We have to start setting our price, our emotional price, the price with our family, not just the price at the money. Don't always look at the money. Don't let the money be the deciding factor for why you choose this career. Now, it does have great compensation if you know how to the right way, if you know the right way to conduct yourself in this game and have your plan and have your goals and have your aspirations and the strategic strategy on how to get there. Yes, but it's so much more to it. There's just so much more to it that you have to look at and look into when it comes to this game. What are you sacrificing? Family, friends, relationships, having a real good relationship, playing basketball overseas and being away, having a career that takes you away from your family and partner. That's a sacrifice. Not everyone is willing to be able to handle it's just not enough there to water and grow because you're just not there. These are sacrifices. These are some things that you just have to put into context. Listen, that's all I got for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. These are just a couple of my thoughts of when I think about the game and what's going on in the game, and just a couple of questions that we just have to be mindful of. Some questions that we have to be mindful of and we should just start applying and just raise the awareness of the game that we're getting into before we get into it. Because it's better to know and plan and strategize and be real with ourselves when it comes down to all these aspects of the game that no one's really talking about. No one's really putting emphasis on as if it's not that important. Well, I'm here to tell you today it is that important on what you do and what you set your mark at, what you set to sacrifice for your life, your family, your relationships. There are a lot of sacrifices that must be made in this game, and it comes at a price. All of this comes at a price, the good and the bad. You just have to set your price and stick to it and understand it, and don't run away from it. Don't run away like these things are not going to happen. Like the disconnect will happen. The separation will happen. The loneliness will happen. The depression will happen. All these things you must go through if you're choosing this career path. That's all I got for this segment. I hope you guys can do me a favor and just leave me a rating, 5-star rating on Apple. Share this with a friend who wants to play, who's thinking about the life, and just some thoughts of what you can expect from playing in this game, period. These are just the thoughts of a person that's been playing for over 10 years, and this is just some of the things that I've experienced majority of my life, and just a collective of a lot of guys who've been playing, because I've had the joy and I've had just the exposure of being around so many pros because I've just been in the game for so long. And these are just some of the things that are just not talked about enough. But it's a very real and it needs to be addressed. That's all I got. Till next time. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe on our YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to your podcast. I greatly appreciate it.